Kisses to all of you. Hello out there in YouTube land. I am on StreamYard. I'm trying this for the first time, recording from my laptop. I usually record from my phone. Just want to let me know if you prefer the phone versus this, but let's get to it. And it looks a little dark, so I'm hoping for the best, okay? I think I hear a little pitter patter too. Kisses to all of you. Thank you for your love and your support. To my subscribers, my new ones, welcome. We are welcoming you into our family. And normally, what I do, I have a chit chat with everybody about what I'm thinking when it comes to Meghan and Harry, since they wanted to make themselves spectacles. I decided to wear my crown today, guys. So all this talk about Harry and Meghan taking over for the king because and having them do royal duties while he is incapacitated. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, why would they call on them? He would probably have to call Andrew before he calls Meghan and Harry. I mean, seriously, first of all, Meghan is not coming back to the UK. She's not coming back to bring the kids, to show the kids, to wave, to say hello, to do nothing. She got what she wanted and she left. And she's not coming back. She has no need to. She realized that she can't call them racist and then be on the balcony at the same time. She realized that people don't trust her as much as they used to anymore. That what I'm finding out is people are saying that she's a liar. Ooh, a liar, a hypocrite, a loser. Oh my goodness, I'm not saying these things. These things are out on public domain. And this is allegedly, these are my thoughts and da 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 da. And my disclaimer is in the description. So just don't want to get kicked off. For telling my story. That's what and word on the street is people are not happy with Harry in this award that he got for aviation, like he was some type of hero. So we're gonna get into that too. Okay. What else did I want to say? I had a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys did. I have a small cold, and I wouldn't even call it a cold. I'm just stuffy, but I feel fine. I feel really great, but I just sound like I'm not my best. But trust me, we're doing good. But yeah, I think I got a little stuff going. Okay, I'll be right. Just a reminder, we're gonna try to do. I hope I'm not on pause or nothing. Okay, just a reminder that we are going to do lives on Thursday. I want to make it like a every Thursday kind of thing. We'll see. And we'll see if we're going to do one this Thursday. So far, so good. Other thing I wanted to say is, guys, help me welcome my new subscribers. Thank you for supporting me. Oh, one last thing. I took some pictures of my daughter in her skirt that she got from Scotland, and it's in my community. It's so beautiful. I want you guys to take a look at it. She looked like a doll yesterday. Okay, back to Meghan and Harry. Pulling up the video.
Aviation at a ceremony in Beverly Hills. 9 News correspondent Elsa Petrowski joins us from LA. Ali, the award has raised a few eyebrows.
Yeah, that's right. Good morning to you, Sophie. Raising eyebrows not just here in Hollywood, but also in the United Kingdom. Prince Harry received the award last night at the Beverly Hilton. John Travolta was hosting. The Duke of Sussex, one of 4 people bestowed this honour for, and I quote, those who have made significant contributions to aviation and aerospace. Announcing the award, the organisation said Prince Harry is a humanitarian, military veteran, mental wellness advocate and environmentalist. Harry was inducted alongside US Navy pilot Fred George and former world speed record holder Steve Hinton. Let's hear from Harry last night at the awards.
Thanks very much, Captain John. Very good one.
Harry, I'm going to slow it down and I'm going to repeat what he says. And he's talking to John Travolta. John, I'm going to call him John Travolta. He's talking to him and he's making a joke, and the joke is not funny. He sounded like he'd been rehearsing it and rehearsing it over and over again to now it don't even sound like a real, it just sounds like a whole bunch of muttering, like it's just jittered. So it doesn't really sound like a joke. He should have just said thank you and just kept going and not joke because he's not funny. This ain't funny. I'm going to let you hear it.
Record holder Steve Hinton. Let's hear from Harry last night at the awards.
He said, "This is nice."
Thanks very much, Captain John.
Thank you very much, Captain John.
I was 1 year old.
He was 1 year old
1 year old when you danced with my
when he danced with his mom. As you've told everybody here and continue to dine out on that probably every single night. I didn't get that. So I guess that was the joke. But look at us now. It's great. So if we're not going to dance together, okay. But look at us now. It's great. It's going too fast. He just sped up. He's talking real fast. If he wants people to hear the joke, he probably needs to just slow it down. This is nice. Thanks very much, Captain John.
I was 1 year old. When you danced with my mom.
He was 1 year old when he danced with his mom. As you've told everybody here and continue to dine out on that probably every single night. But look at us now. It's great. So if we're not going to dance together, we'll fly together. That's it. Thank you. We're done.
Yeah, Harry, there.
Sorry, he's not funny. He's not an actor. He's not a comedian. He's not a Hollywood person. He's a prince. And his joke fell really flat.
Jokingly calling out John Travolta for supposedly dining out on a story about dancing with his late mother, Princess Diana, many, many decades ago. Now, Harry has been copping a lot of flack from the British press in the lead up to this awards ceremony. The former head of the Navy called it a pathetic publicity stunt.
The former head of the Navy called it a publicity stunt. Isn't that Meghan and Harry's last name? Isn't it? He went and picked up this award. So first of all, people are like, why did you even go and do that, Harry? Like, why would you do that? You're not a hero. Why would he buy it? He bought it. Of course, he's going to go and get it. Him and Meghan looking through the Rolodex, talking about, okay, here's an award we can get you in with, Harry. We'll get you the aviation award. All we got to do is pay $30,000. And then we'll get them to say that he's some pilot. Like I heard that he was a gunner, which is like the pilot's helper or something like that. So for him to be, maybe he can fly, but he doesn't actually do it. They're trying, I know WME was up to this because anything that if Harry looks good, Meghan looks good. But he's getting backlash because they don't consider him this legend. And next to these people that have actually flew and flown a plane before and does it for a living. Not Harry. He's a legend. You called him a legend. That may be taking it a little step too far. Okay, we're going to move on. You heard her. They are upset. The formal head of the Navy is appalled, upset, and disappointed and has come out and said something and said, wait a minute, Harry is not a legend. I can give you a list of legends. But let's hear Esther Cracker talk about it a little bit. Right back, guys. Can you guys just imagine?
Now,
We'll get to
Harry and
that.
Andrew, they've also recently been replaced as.
Can you imagine Meghan and Harry taking over for the king and queen? They're coming in town. We're talking about they're going to do royal events and stuff, and they let them. I think there will be some upset UK people for real. I don't even think they're ready for Harry and Meghan back in their city just yet. They got to do some apologizing, maybe. But, you know, she doesn't feel like she has to apologize for anything because she's done nothing wrong. She's always right. It's always someone else's fault. Let's see what Esther is talking about.
Now, Harry and Andrew, they've also recently been replaced as councillors of the state. This was all done very quietly. But what does that mean, and who replaces them?
So the Council of State bill that was submitted last year for the year 2022-2023, just after the King's accession, actually had a small amendment that has recently been discovered, which basically states that only working royal members of the royal family can become councillors of state.
Whoa. Did you guys know that? So before anyone could be counselor, not anyone, Harry could be counselor of state, meaning he would be in charge until his father or the king is able to get back to his royal duties. So you pass along the baton to someone else to handle it while you're incapacitated. Okay. But before now, that's how it was. Harry, not if you were a senior royal or not a working royal, it didn't matter. If you were a royal, as Harry is a prince, he would have been able to take over for his brother and his father. But somewhere along the way, they have removed Harry from being counselor of state. I believe it's called counselor of state. But they removed that. Now only working royals can be counselor of state. So that kicks Harry out. I believe they did that on purpose so that they wouldn't have to have that problem in the future. Can you imagine Meghan coming back to town thinking she own it, waving and doing and pretending like she likes it? If she knew that she could be in charge for a little period of time, I'm sure she would just go right on in the door, put the crown on, and sit there and pretend like she's been there all her life. If it was something glamorous and glitzy and glamour, and she could sit there and look beautiful or whatever, she would do it. This would put, if they were able to serve as counselor of state, if they hadn't came over here and act a fool, maybe the king wouldn't have took that clause out, or someone wouldn't have took that out, that they can no longer serve as counselors, because they kicked them smooth to the curb, making so they're gonna have to leave Anne in charge or someone else in charge until they're making it very clear that Harry is not a candidate for serving at all, ever. And now we have put into effect that you have to be a senior working royal to be able to be a counselor. So in other words, that kicks Harry and Meghan to the curb. Boop. Once again, they're irrelevant. That's not good. Being irrelevant and not having a place in Hollywood or on the big screen or somewhere to let everybody know that you're making money and that you're here, it don't look too good for you, Megan. I think you done messed up. They probably ended it with that book, Endgame, because WME wasn't happy. They were upset. They said they said we were highly disappointed in that. Because they knew where it came from. They knew. How did they not know that it was coming? They probably could have said, I know you're not going to write a book and put some names in a book and then lie. Sorry about my nose. I know I sound really hoarse. Okay, let's continue.
Now it's become particularly relevant because the king is taking time off to have surgery for a routine procedure, but he is still going to be able to fulfill his constitutional role as head of state, just not the ceremonial ones of charities and going to events and all of that. But because of that small amendment of working royals, that effectively disqualifies Prince Andrew, certainly, who I still think should be banished to Goa, and Prince Harry and Princess Beatrice, who's not a working member of the royal family. So, traditionally, councillors of state have been the spouse of the monarch and then the next four in line to the throne over the age of 21, which, of course, nullifies Prince William's children. But adding the working royal stipulation.
So you have to be a certain age. If you're under the age of, I think she said 25, then you can't. So they're too young, of
effectively
course.
nullifies Harry and Prince Andrew, who are technically still councillors of state, but actually not eligible to carry out the role.
Now,
Not
the recent
eligible.
illnesses of both the King and the Princess of Wales
Say it, not eligible. You have gotten kicked to the curb. Kicked to the curb. You're no longer a part of any of the of anything related to your culture, Harry, to your family. Like, you are an outcast. You chose that. You knew you were going up against everything that you knew when you went on that Oprah show and then told Oprah that conversation I'm never going to share. But you did. You shared it with your wife, Jezebel. And she wanted us to know. No, he was probably saying it in fun. Like, oh, they were trying to guess what the kid was going to look like if me and you had a baby, Megan. Like, if it was going to be ginger or no. Or is it going to have cream skin, dark skin, light skin? She named two random people, Open Scobie and Megan, put names in that book, Endgame in Holland, and wanted us to believe that the two most beloved people in England is the racist. Yeah, that's what she said. First, it was racism. Then it was unconscious bias. Now it's back to being racism. Mm-hmm. And Megan doesn't think that these shenanigans is hurting her.
Just how important these roles are there enough members of the royal family to fill the void?
It seems so. I mean, we have to remember that the king is not going to be off for very long. This is a very routine procedure for an enlarged prostate, which is a very common condition. I mean, 90% of men over the age of 80 suffer from it. So if you're a man and you happen to live that long, it is likely that you will undergo this procedure. So it's just the king, one senior member of the royal family that will be off for at least a few weeks. It's Princess Catherine who's going to be off until at least Easter. And obviously because of that, Prince William is going to take some time off as well, just to be there for her and their children. He's likely to take on some of her engagements between now and that time. And there unfortunately have been speculations that Harry could have stepped in if he and Meghan were still in the royal family, but that ship has.
If they were still in the royal family, then they probably would have passed that on to Harry and Meghan. Look how they have disgraced themselves, in my opinion. Like, you no longer can speak on behalf of the King and Queen of England. You no longer can speak on behalf of your father, on behalf of the kingdom. You've been ousted, kicked to the curb in a situation called others. They have moved Harry and Meghan from senior working royals to all the way down to the bottom under others. I don't want to be under other. And now she is. How did she manage to be one of the most famous people in the world to end up being one of the most famous people that people don't like? It's the truth. You pick which part you dislike about Megan. We don't hate over here. We just call it disapproval, dislike, or whatever. Is it her lying? Is it her blaming? Is it her whining? Is it the way she treated Harry, cut Harry off from his family? I was listening to something today and they were explaining what a narcissistic person is. Like in the beginning, they're pretending like, oh yes, he's in control, like how Megan was hanging on him. They were talking about Amber too. How how Harry was in control, he was leading in the beginning and all of that. And then it says after a while, the woman, Megan begins to, first of all, it said that she trapped her prey. Mhm. She manipulated Harry into believing that she was in love with him and cared about him and wanted to, live this life with him. She had to first convince Harry that she was down with the plan. That same plan that she wrote to Elizabeth and talking about all that stuff she was going to be dedicated to, but was dedicated to nothing. Nothing. Only her. The only thing she dedicated to is trying to get her brand off of Hollywood Boulevard and get her a star on the Walk of Fame. I was saying something. They missed this opportunity. If they had came over here and would have did what they said they was going to do, instead of going on national TV complaining about how famous they are, how she was being mistreated. Oh, the narcissistic thing I was talking about. The first thing they do is size up their prey and they lock them. So she got the prey, which was Harry. Then she pretends to us like she's some loving, wonderful girlfriend. And then all the time when they get married and stuff, he showed us how she started dominating him, even as they're holding hands. This is Megan dominating Harry. Then he said, after they get through dominating their prey, then they isolate them from their family. Megan isolated him from everyone. I believe even Beatrice and Eugene. They tried to be friends. But I just think Megan was too evil for them and they just had to say, forget it. That's me guessing. But that's what narcissists do. They separate him from those that have an influence, and they turn them against them people. So Megan turned Harry against his own family. Even the queen, she was on a fast track to getting back here to Hollywood. So she was doing what she needed to do it. They even talked about how she played on his sympathy, the suicide and the Diana element and everything like that. Like, she's a true narcissistic person. But she's a psychopath too, because she doesn't feel anything. Because if you don't have any, if you know you're doing something wrong and you don't feel bad about doing it, Jesus, them kids, will they ever see King Charles? I know Megan is not getting back with her father. She didn't block him. He ain't got her new number. They ain't talking. The only message he can get to his daughter is if he come on one of these channels and on TV. Let's get back.
But they're going to work around it. I mean, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh are still taking on a lot of roles, and Princess Anne, who shows no signs of slowing down. Last year, she was the hardest working royal with the most royal engagements for 2023. So it looks like they're just going to shuffle their calendars and somehow make it work. But obviously, this does remind us that there are fewer members of the royal family, more working members of the royal family, to carry out their duties.
Meghan and Harry is not in the loop of it. I don't think that she would get off her throne in Montecito to come and help anyway. You go, Harry. I got to watch the kids. She didn't want to do royal duties when she was over there. She was trying to figure out why she wasn't getting paid, but she was getting paid. You were. You thought that, oh, I guess she thought when she married Harry that everybody was just supposed to be falling at her feet with clothes and jewelry and gold and homes and whatever. She had that, but she didn't want that. Excuse me, excuse me. Let's get back to Esther.
And someone like Prince Andrew is completely out of the picture, rightly so.
Harry has recently been given an award as an aviation living legend. The ceremony was in Beverly Hills this week.
I was 1 year old when you lost my mom.
Okay, this is him saying it again.
Shows no sign of signs of
Maybe it'll sound better if it's sped
I was
up.
working with the most royal engagements for 2023. So it looks like they're just going to shuffle their calendars and somehow make it work. But obviously, this does remind us that there are fewer members of the royal family, working members of the royal family, to carry out their duties, and someone like Prince Andrew is completely out of the picture, rightly so.
Harry has recently been given an award as an aviation living legend. The ceremony was in Beverly Hills this week. And during his speech, he made this strange remark about John Travolta and his mother, Princess Diana.
Thanks very much, Captain John. Don't get running away.
Weird.
I was 1 year old. I was 1 year old when you lost my mom. I told everybody here and continue to dine up and that probably every single day. But look at us now. It's great. So if we're not going to dance together, we'll fight together.
Esther, what was this award all about? And what was that comment all about?
Yes.
So this award was obviously presented by John Travolta, and it was for the living legends of aviation, and it was presented to Prince Harry for his role as an Apache helicopter pilot during his tour of Afghanistan between 2007 and 2012. And it's actually been quite controversial, mainly because really between 2007 and 2012, he only had about 30 weeks of active service in the war zone. And many of the people that served in Afghanistan with him have come out and said, he had an SAS bodyguard with him basically at all times, so his life was never really in any danger. Now, that doesn't negate the fact that he did serve his country and he did serve abroad, but it draws into question, does that qualify as someone as a living legend of aviation, 30 weeks of service in an active war zone?
You guys tell
one of the
me.
implications, or the bigger questions, are why did he even attend this event? I'm assuming he takes himself
Publicity stunt.
his role in Afghanistan very seriously. I think
She's
the
being
last things
nice.
he can grasp onto of his old life before he left the royal family and Britain.
He looked
entirely.
happy.
But people that have served in the army for many years, even decades, will never see an award like this. Not that it's the pinnacle of service, but it is a significant award.
She said people that have served for decades and given their lives and everything, they'll never see an award like this. And Harry is not deserving of this award. And that's why people are starting to look and say, what kind of award is this? Is it worth anything at this point? Meaning the value of the award is starting to shrink because you're giving Harry a living legend. Like when I think of legend, I think of Buzz and Armstrong. I think of those people that landed on the moon. Listen, I think about your average person that has just been serving for decades. Harry is over here in Montecito with him and looking and on the stage looking. It is what it is. We're wrapping this up, guys. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do the second half on my phone. I just think it's too dark, and until I can get some better lighting, then we'll do it this way.
Should be respected, at the very least, if it's commemorating someone's service in the armed forces. And for someone like Harry to receive this award is strange. It's a bit unfair if you think about it. It's 30 weeks of service, and it's also
people are upset that he's getting this award, literally, especially those people that have really served and think that they deserve it. Like the person that came out was the former Navy commander came out against it and said this is a publicity stunt. That's their middle name. That's all Meghan and Harry do. They do things for show, for looks, for clicks, for for show. It's not what they do on a regular basis. It's only what they do for a moment, like a charity. Oh, let's get on the stage with Kevin Costner for a moment. Let's go to the Navy facility and take a picture with the Navy people. Just showing up, taking pictures for photo ops. Moving on. Let's wrap this up. We're gonna move on to his Jezebel.
It makes you question why he even went as well. I mean, he did go.
Of course, he's gonna go. He went because him and Meghan bought it. They bought the award, and they were gonna go and pick it up. And I'm surprised she wasn't there because she never missed a moment to be on the red carpet. But I don't get it. Why are you not showing up to support your husband, though? They got a weird relationship.
Company in. But one line that he did say when he was accepting his award is that information about his activities in Afghanistan are classified, which is interesting because his Taliban kill count is not classified. That's
right. Maybe trying to make up for it.
In his autobiography, Spare, but for some reason now he's remaining tight-lipped about his other.
She's right, talking about it's private. He said what you do in let me rewind it.
To the event alone, Meghan didn't accompany him. But one line that he did say when he was accepting his award is that information about his activities in Afghanistan are classified.
So his activities in Afghanistan is classified. Now it's classified. It wasn't classified when you was telling us in a book. You said in a book, something that can be repeated over and over and over and over again. It's stuck. It's there. Then not only did he talk about his Afghanistan, he talked about his time during his active duty. He starts talking about his brother and how his brother came over and they got into an altercation and he thought it was a good idea to tell everybody. Let's just tell everybody. Oh yeah, and who I had sex with for the first time. She had to come out and show her face and say, it's me. I bet someone was embarrassed because her husband's lover was on TV on the Piers Morgan show. Oh, you dug it up. You talked about stuff that you shouldn't have been talking about. And so it comes to life. Just like Lilibet, knowing good and well you didn't get permission. Meghan was so quick to tell us that she got permission. She was too fast with it. She was lying. She didn't get permission. Elizabeth didn't give her permission to use Lilibet. Shame on you, girlfriend. Listen, I'm out of here. This one's about Harry. So I'm going to change the title. And I will see you back in just a few minutes, guys. Kisses. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, it's the Meghan Show. See you soon. Bye-bye.